Welcome to the Latin Wealth Podcast, a podcast dedicated to educating the Latino community about entrepreneurship, investing, and business.
Yo, what's going on, Latin Wealth family? Welcome to another episode to the Latin Wealth Podcast. And today, super excited about today's conversation because we got three topics that we're going to be hitting on. It's going to be a great conversation. It's going to be a lot of information, so make sure you guys are tuning in. And we love to hear your thoughts and opinions. One of the articles actually was sent to us by an individual in the community. I'm gonna get his name. I want to give him a shout out, but he sent us one of the articles. So, we're gonna have a great time today. So, the first topic that we're gonna be hitting on, the first of three, is Selena Gomez, Latina, now a billionaire. We're gonna be breaking down how Selena Gomez worked her way into a billionaires club in 2024. Also, going to be breaking down Brazil's spending and their $1 trillion budget. All right, we're going to be breaking that down. We spoke about Brazil a little bit recently. We're going to hit on them a little bit more. And then we're going to be hitting on a new project called the Hotos Project, which is a submarine cable connecting Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico's power system. All right, three crazy topics, topics that we definitely want to hit on, give you guys some perspective on. And before we jump into it today, Jeremiah, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great. New information. Like you said, they should be taking notes. And hopefully, this information is viable for everybody and they can pass it on to other people. So let's get to it.
100%, 100%. We'll get into it. Just a quick update. I did announce last week that we got an event coming out happening in Dallas. So stay on the lookout for the platform for more information. Also, a lot of content coming out between Wealth Wednesday, the show with Carlos and I around personal development, mental health. Got another interview coming out this Friday as well. So a lot of content. So make sure you guys are tapped in, plugged in, and sharing with people that need to be tapped into the Latin Wealth community. All right. So with that being said, Selena Gomez. All right. I never thought I'd be talking about Selena Gomez, but shout out to her, from Disney Channel star to her music career. She's found a lot of success in television, film industry, and she's also built a lucrative business and the founder of the cosmetic brand Rare Beauty. Now, I'm gonna be honest, y'all, I didn't know that she had a cosmetic brand and that she was doing numbers like this. So Selena Gomez net worth in 2024 is estimated at $1.3 billion. And this news just came out about last week. And look, back in 2022, she was worth about $95 million, which is still an absurd amount of money. And there was a sharp increase from last year's 800,000 estimate, right? And her net worth spiked due largely because of the success of the makeup line Rare Beauty, which she only launched in 2020, which is crazy. Very interesting that she's seen that much growth in about 4 years, right? So I want to break down a couple more things. The majority of Gomez's net worth roughly comes from 81%, again, from the Rare Beauty brand. And interesting enough, only 5% of her music career, such as tours and whatnot, contributes to her fortune. And then about 2% is attributed to her album sales and the record sales and streaming and whatnot. So 2% album sales, streaming, 5% to like the tours and whatnot, merch, and then 81% goes to the Rare Beauty makeup brand.
7% of her total net worth is music based, which is what people know her for, which is music, right? High School Musical, all these other stuff that she's done. So basically, what you know her for only makes up 7% of her total net worth. It's a couple of things that's in that. Number one, sounds like she got some bad deals. Because if you see her face in so many different places, that means she's not earning a very sizable amount of money from those deals. But what she did do is what we should all learn how to do is branding, right? Personal branding and marketing. That
Mm,
is, I took my face, I created the influencer, I built my name up off of this stuff, and I'm not earning a whole bunch of money from what you know me from, but I took what you know me from and converted it over into something that I make a sizable amount of money from,
mm,
which
that's
is,
good.
the ownership or equity ownership of her makeup line, which, is specifically geared toward brown and black skin, right? So more of the ethnic side or colored side. Now she has all types of different
Mm-hmm.
type of skin wear and all types of stuff, but it's geared more toward that niche. And it's done phenomenal. I mean, obviously we saw Rihanna, who was mentioned also in that article. There were, she's in the
Mm,
Billionaire Club, and when she came out with Fenty, then what you're seeing is Selena Gomez was like, well, she did it on the, more on the black side. I could do it more in the Latin space, and there's a space for that. Makeup is a huge deal. Lingerie or
mm,
undergarments and things like that with Rihanna. These are all major things and things that people probably wouldn't think about, but it does show that you can take your name and maybe you're not earning a sizable amount because the record companies are earning a whole bunch from your music, but you can take your name, right, and your likeness, and you can turn that into, a billionaire empire. So shouts out to her. But I think that's one of the things that I noticed, that only 7% of her money comes from what you know her from, but she took that and monetized it properly. There's a lesson in that. So
yeah, there's definitely a lesson in that, and it's interesting because the other day Carlos pulled up to the house and we were talking about music, and he was talking about one of the guys that he knew growing up, and he made like these hit singles and hit records. He had plaques on his wall and whatnot, and I guess he was signed to Swiss Beats. And long story short, I don't know if he's still living there, but at a point he had the plaques on his wall, the silver, whatever, the platinum records, but he's still
yeah,
living at his mom's house
yeah,
because he got hit with that, probably that 360 deal that everybody hears about,
360.
or some crazy deals. But my point is, yeah, it's very interesting. To me, it's very interesting that Rihanna, you mentioned Fenty,
Mhm.
Kylie Jenner. I think she is a billionaire or was or something like that,
Yeah,
but she had Kylie Cosmetics, or she still has it. So something about the beauty industry that is just it's a very lucrative business, right? Her most popular product, which is a $23 liquid brush, in 2023 reached sales of $70 million. Just that one brush.
yeah. I mean,
Crazy.
think about it. No matter what happens, women are going to fix their face. No disrespect to the ladies, but women's
Yeah.
always going to they're always going to use makeup, I mean, we're in the pandemic, but,
And you got
women,
both genders
huh?
buying into it now. You got both genders buying into it now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, now, I mean, overall, and just society wise, well, not gender discriminate or anything like
Right.
that, but you're making money now from more than just women
Mm-hmm.
now. So now you're
Mm-hmm.
making, it's hand over foot money.
Mm.
Makeup is always going to be something because people always want to try to enhance themselves, right? We're always seeking to enhance. Maybe some of us just seek to enhance a little bit more the brain, but that's a whole different thing. So
Yeah.
it's always going to be a great industry to get into. If you can find some way to try to innovate and find your niche and just stick to that niche, then you're going to do quite well. I'm actually waiting on somebody. I'm waiting on. I want to see like an East Indian, so like from India. I'm
Mm.
waiting on an Indian influencer to
Mm.
come out because just with their in with their economy and everything just sprouting and growing the way that it is, I'm waiting to see somebody take advantage of that with, them. They're going to be the most populous country here pretty soon if they're not already. I believe they are. So
Yeah.
I,
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting on that. That's going to be a sizable investment, and they're going to make a
Yeah.
lot of money.
100%. Yeah. Shout out to Selena Gomez. And even I was looking into her story. I didn't know too much about her story, but her father is Mexican and her mother is of European descent. I think they separated when she was like 5. She grew up out here somewhere in Texas, Grand Prairie, Texas, kind of a rough neighborhood, but like it just goes to show we look at individuals like her and we think it's impossible like to reach where she's at and what she's doing. And she came up around here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how
Boston
far Grand
City,
Prairie is from Dallas, but
yeah. Grand
single
Prairie is in
mom.
the middle. It's in between Fort Worth and Dallas.
Yeah,
It's going back west. Yeah.
there it is.
I
Crazy.
mean, fighting through sickness and everything, man. She's had health issues and stuff as well.
Hmm.
So it's a huge triumph. And it just, like you said, it just goes to show no matter what you go through, um, no matter what you do, you can maybe fail a couple times, but you just fail moving forward. And she's done nothing but just grow and continue to, excel and level up. So shouts out to her.
Cash out. Yeah, shout out to her. So also, shout out to Brazil as they just released some of their spending and, where they're putting their $1 trillion budget at, right? And so their vice president posted on Instagram. I want to, can I bring it up real quick? I don't know if I can bring it up real quick,
Hold up,
but
let me yeah,
let
you
me
should
see.
be just a second.
Let me see. I just want to bring up
Yeah,
the
we gotta make
post
sure that we get the people, everybody can see it.
just real
All right,
quick.
and go ahead.
All right, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. I just want to show the folks like what we're looking at, and where we're getting our information from. Let me know if you can see Instagram.
Yeah, it's coming up right now. We're good.
Cool. All right,
Yep.
so this is the vice president of Brazil. He posted this graphic. Now, it's a funny graphic. It's kind of, I don't know, to me cheesy, but you can see his captions in Portuguese. I don't speak Portuguese, so I went ahead and translated it. And basically, what he's saying is rockets have no reverse, and Brazil is proving this week the financial market continues to grow upwards is GDP, right? Projections for 2024. We are now at 2.7%, almost double the 1.4 forecast made last year. So the translation is a little spotty, but eventually, really what he's saying is their GDP is growing and they're pretty much doubled from where they were up at last year, their forecast that they made. So this is what he posted. We're also going to go into the spending, a article that Latino Metrics posted. We'll get into that right now. But yeah, very interesting information here.
It's pretty funny.
But yeah, so just wanted to show this. Latino Metrics, they posted in their article that there's been some investors that have been skeptical this year. A big part of that is due to Brazil's fiscal deficit, which hovers around 10% of the gross domestic product, or GDP. So official figures published by the country's transparency portal shows a total spending budget of about 1 trillion, or a little less than half the country's 2024 GDP. Of this, the largest chunk is over $300 billion that goes towards refinancing domestic debt. All right. So Brazil's debt stands just at 75% of their total GDP. I know that was probably a mouthful for y'all, but I'm going to go to the graph that we kept mentioning. Can you see how does Brazil's government
Yeah,
make?
we're good.
Okay,
Yeah, we're
cool.
good.
So this is the graph that was posted by Latino Metrics. Shout out to them, always posting, dope information in a way that's easier for people to consume, right? You can just imagine everything that I just read and the research we did, it just could be too much for people, but this breaks it down in a eloquent way. So, yeah, what were your thoughts about this when you came across this?
I mean, I saw the amount coming in, and then you see the total spending budget. So the credit operations deficit is at 470, so about $471 billion. Um, I mean, for me, when I look at this, it's good, but I see that there's some holes in the system, and there's maybe obviously some things that they need to shore up. With a third of your actual spending budget going toward refinancing of domestic debt, um, I mean, that's fine, but eventually what ends up happening is that grows due to interest and inflation.
Hmm.
So you just want to make sure that you're starting to produce more, right? So you can basically house your own funding or the money that you need for yourself so you don't have to look for money from outside of your country, right? Um, I know that what's really funny is obviously Brazil's at scale, but if I were them, I would kind of look at what El Salvador did, what President Bukele did, because what ends up happening is you got to try to figure out how to level off the spending, refinancing your debt, because what that does is just put you further in the hole. And right now it's 30%, but I mean, it could be, a year, 2 years from now, depending on how money moves,
Hmm.
you're looking at half of your total spending is going toward refinancing your domestic debt. So that's not a good look. Um, and then I was looking at the credit operations deficit. So if you look down in that section that they have down there, you got education, social assistance, health. So these are very key things. Contingency
Hmm.
reserve is very small compared to the overall GDP and the amount that you're spending on the refinancing of the debt. What that means is you're doing better, but you're not really solvent, right? And
Hmm.
also when you have education down in a space where it's tertiary, right? So you have primary, secondary concerns, and then there's tertiary. So like third level concern, what that breeds on the back end is individuals, right? Lack of financial literacy. So it's good now, and you ride a little bit of a wave. So this is kind of, what this reminds me of? This reminds me kind of like America. I mean, not exact numbers, but America in the 80s, going to the
Hmm.
90s, right? Where you saw it skyrocket, saw the economy go crazy. But then now where we're at is we're like 18th in literacy, in the literacy rate. And you see issues in our economy and things like that. So that's something that I would watch. As you're on your way up, you just definitely want to make sure that you're taking care of education because, well, you need knowledge, man. If without any knowledge, you don't know how to run the country.
Right, 100%. What I'm looking at is the other transfers, other special charges. I mean, what is this? You know, other transfers. Where is this money being transferred to? Those are some of the things, and it's a big chunk. It's like you said, it's more than the education.
That's money going to people's pockets probably.
Hmm.
It's weird because you're refinancing domestic debt at almost $309 billion, and then your domestic debt service itself is almost 150 billion. So it's like it's strange, right?
Hmm.
There's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of holes when I looked at it.
And I'm
Um,
interested where it says contributions of inflow into the total revenue budget. What do you think what do you think is inside of this?
um, Probably illicit money, to be honest. There's probably I mean, to be honest, there's probably like the drug money and other things that comes into
Hmm.
that. Because taxes, fees, and improvement contributions are coming from the people, right? So you know where that's coming from, but contributions could be from donors. It could be from very rich Brazilians, right? It could be from companies that are seeking to put that towards like a lobbying amount so they don't get taxed.
Hmm.
It's hard to, really say where
Yeah.
that's from, honestly.
100%. Well, we wanted to bring this up. Like I said, Latino Metrics always has great articles, and graphs and whatnot, and we love to check them out while we can. So,
We need to
anything
try to
else?
get on a podcast. We need to get some of their
I
people on
know, no, I
this.
know. I'm gonna continue reaching out until we get them on for sure. You're right, 100%. Okay, cool. So we're gonna transition into the last article real quick. I'm going to pull up another website since we're already here. Caribbean Transmission Development Company is developing a subsea cable between Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic to interconnect the two energy grids. So what we're looking at right now is Caribbean Transmission's website. And this website is super dope. Like it pretty much breaks down the whole project in a way that anybody can understand. You can, we're not going to review the whole website, but pretty much breaks down, why they are doing this, some of the crises that go on between the two country, kind of breaks down the solutions. Unlike the Caribbeans, many European country energy grids are interconnected across themselves and Africa via submarine cables. What they're planning on doing is integrating 164 cables on the floor of the ocean. And yeah, I mean, look, the website is great. Puerto Rico and DR is only 100 miles apart. So this is something that they are integrating to help get to PR 100, which is 100% renewable energy by 2030. So just another solution out there. I know we've been having a lot of conversations about renewable energy on this platform. And yeah, this is just another one that I just found out about recently. So very interesting.
Like people, this is one of the conversations. So you see it in basically in live time, right? Because we were talking about DR, we talked about Puerto Rico and the power issues that they have, and we talked about DR and the productivity and how they were actually a little bit ahead in the alternative energy space. So it's good to see them sharing their information. Remember, we were like, maybe Puerto Rico should go talk to Dominican Republic. Well,
Yeah.
obviously they weren't listening to us, but somebody was already kind of ahead of it and saying
Right.
like, okay, these guys got it together. Let's kind of follow their model. I was telling you, Chris, on the other side of Puerto Rico, there's islands and stuff that are over there, way smaller, obviously, but they're looking to do the same thing on the other side of Puerto Rico. So,
Mm,
on the east side. So running cables to some of the islands that are off the east coast of Puerto Rico. So this is an idea that's been working, and it makes sense to do it because there's so much sun down there.
mm,
And everybody's like, well, there's hurricanes. Well, yeah, I mean that's part of being in a tropical area, but there's ways to help prevent that. There's actually technology now. We were talking about microgridding previously. If people look back a couple episodes, but this is a good thing. And the fact that DR is a little bit ahead and are willing to share basically
mhm.
their energy and willing to share, their successes, that's good. It builds good camaraderie between the countries too. So that's good. I think that's awesome.
100%. Yeah, shout out to Steven. Steven's the one that sent this article over, so
Steve,
shout
shout
out to
out.
him. Um, but yeah, what I'm also curious about is, and I honestly don't know this, I probably can just look it up right after, but with Dominican Republic connecting with Puerto Rico, are they doing anything with Haiti?
What do you mean? Power?
Yeah, with power.
That's a good question. You know the
Yeah.
relationship between Dominican
Yeah, that's what I'm
Republic.
saying. Like that's kind
Yeah,
of,
so
I don't know, man. It's a definitely a
that's a
touchy
touchy
subject.
subject.
We'll get into at
Yeah,
some
that's the
point. We'll look
whole
in.
that's a touchy subject. I mean, there's good reason for that. You got to know your history on that with Haiti and
Yeah.
Republic and slavery and all this other stuff.
Hmm.
So, but that's a good question.
Okay. Uh, yeah, I mean, look, great. I'm also interested to know Butricity, what their team thinks about this and, just overall their thoughts. I know you're going to be meeting with the team in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
That would be a great question to maybe ask to see what their thoughts are on this.
I think there's probably some I don't know this, but I'm pretty sure that there's some type of interaction between them and this whole thing that's going on. Because you got to have the actual capacity when you send that energy over from DR, you have to store that somewhere.
Hmm.
You can't just send it over, right? It's not, and so all of it isn't used up all the time. So you have to have batteries and things like that to store it. So be a good question, good conversation for sure. But the political background would definitely be more beneficial, obviously, with Puerto Rico, being that it's owned by the United States.
Hmm.
You lend a
True.
little hand and you get,
True.
a hand. It would make more sense for them and than to actually help someone on their own island. So,
That's a
because I
good
don't
point.
think people understand that Haiti and Dominican Republic are the same island. It's just
Hmm.
an imaginary line that's split through the middle
Imaginary line.
of an island that is the same island.
Crazy. Crazy.
So,
Insane. Yeah, so we definitely wanted to bring this up and highlight this because I know what's big in the Puerto Rican community. We've spoken about it multiple times that we love to complain, we love to blame, we love to point fingers. So and so is not doing their job, so and so is turning off the power on purpose, whatever. But there's people behind the scenes that are actively pursuing these opportunities and they're trying to do things about them. So we got to give them props, for the people that
and
are,
if it came out that Luma was behind this and trying to help to fund this and to, you know, do this, I mean, people would still talk crap about Luma, right? But they're actively trying to do something different. The thing about it is it never gets better until you try to make it better, right? Like you have to do
Mhm.
things to make it better. So sitting and talking about it, that it's bad, that's great, but what's the solution? So
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah. As we wrap this thing up, look, there's a lot of things in here that we can apply to our lives. You just spoke about like being active, being proactive in your life, not pointing fingers, right? Taking full control of your life. And even the story with Selena Gomez, I mean, that's super inspiring. When I see people like that, I I truly believe like if she can do it, why can't I? Right?
100%. Yep.
It, that's just the way I think. But hopefully y'all took something from this episode. We appreciate y'all as always. We appreciate people sending us information, giving us feedback, and we thank you guys for sharing, liking everything that you guys do.
Thank you guys.
Yes, sir. With that being said, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace, guys.